What is up, guys, and welcome back to a new episode here with some pot limit OMA content, jumping straight into the action, two tabling of Rush and Cash on GGpoker. Guys, if you like this content, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also check out PLOmastermind.com if you want to learn more about pot limit OMA. Look at this, guys. Look at this beautiful holding aces on both tables right away. At the start of this session, I didn't play poker for a couple days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to maybe play a bit more straightforward. Not necessarily, but at least I need to get into the rhythm a bit, I would say. And on table number one, I'm going to check back a very coordinated board. My opponent also should consider having a leading range on this board for sure, where he has like probably more two pairs and sets than myself, especially because I have a tight 3-betting range against an under the gun open. And against a turn probe, I'm going to let this one unfortunately go. But we do pick up ace, ace, jack, 9 on table number 2. Open raising that one. Big blind is very short. Sitting on 20 big blinds. And on jack 5-5. Gonna start with a bet. And I will stack off against the raise. Blocking the jack, having the ace of hearts. And especially also given the low SPR, we will go for it. Table number 1, we face a limp. This guy plays a ton of hands. And I will end up folding ace 9-5-3 double. Let's see what this session will hold for us. Against a min raise, table number 1, easy fold. Usually don't want to have much of a calling range in the small blind. Queen 10, 8, 7. This will be a fold. And Queen Jack, Jack 6 on table number 1. Definitely a hand to open raise with. As you guys saw me in the last couple of sessions, like I try to pay a good amount of attention on like the players at the table pre-flop. Whether they are, for example, too tight, giving me some more fold equity, for example, pre-flop if I decide to raise it up. And on table number 2, the flop goes check, check. I will go ahead and bet the turn, picking up a rep. We still have no showdown value. And on the river 7, I will bet. I would also bet my aces and kings at this point for value. And on table number 1, we do face a 3-bet. This is not a hand I think that we could consider 4-bet bluffing with, especially the king is not that great. I'm just gonna flat. Popping top pair. Backdoor flush draw. Let's see. And on table number 2, I open raise. Pretty standard, I would say, with my specific hand. Holding 3 high cards, blocking 3-betting ranges. And on the flop, checking or betting is both okay. Table number 1 is kind of interesting since he checks back the flop. I mean, I will still give up now and delay bet on table number 2. I think this is a pretty good candidate to bet as a delay, blocking aces, kings, and queens. We can still fold out lower pocket pairs. And on table number 1, king, king on an ace high board usually can be checked quite a bit, but I think this one is a good bet. Like we have the nut flush draw. We can call a check raise. We have some future blockers potentially. My opponent did check call very quickly, very quickly. I'm gonna pot it. Basically saying I have the nut flush or the nut flush blocker. Maybe the queen high flush sometimes. But by sizing up, I'm basically wrapping a strong hand and put my opponent in a very difficult bluff catching situation with like a lot of weaker flushes or two pair hands, that kind of stuff. Table number 1, I think ace 10 8 deuce with a nut suit against the limp. I'm just gonna let that one go. And table number 2, probably just a check. And I will take a stab on this board. Expect a lot of fold equity. Table number 1, top pair. We have the ace. SPR is... I'm actually just gonna rip it in myself. We're up against ace, king, queen, queen. Beautiful turn. Table number 2. It's a bit tricky because he's very tight, but of course stack sizes are super shallow. So we're just gonna get it in. And we're up against a 2 pair. And we lose on table number 1, unfortunately. Let's see if we can hit. We need a club. There it is. Beautiful. King Jack 10-7 will just be a fold. Same as King 6-4-4. Playable hand on table number 1. Not a hand to 3-bet with, I would say, against any of these players, but definitely strong enough to raise with. And also a hand that can call a 3-bet in case my opponents would decide to take that line. Queen Jack 10-8 single in the meantime. Interesting flop, 2 pair. We have the Queen of Diamonds. We have the 10. A lot of things going on. My opponent is pretty tight. I wonder if I want to check or bet. I mean, if we get check raise, it's pretty awkward. But I think like I have too much connection to the board that I want to bet. Table number 1. Table number 1. I'm gonna go for a small bet. And table number 2, I will just call against the 3-bet and we're getting it in against 2 pair. Running almost dead there, my opponent. And we call on table number 2. Middle pair, flush draw, backdoor flush draw. Interesting. My opponent bets small. Polarizing a bit in that sense. I think I like a shove more than a call. Because my outs are pretty non-nutted, but I have a lot of things happening. Like we have hearts, we have a gutter, we have backdoor clubs. And the money will go in, and we're up against ace, ace, 6-5. Let's see if we can hit. Unfortunately, we don't. My opponent takes it down. Let's have a look into this situation where I decided to raise with Queen Jack and 9-8 with hearts and clubs. Now against a half pot size bet, if I look into PLO trainer, we are folding 36% of the time, calling 52.2 and raising 11.3%. Now what I did is, for those of you who don't know, I ran my own solution using Monker Solver and then imported the results into PLO Trainer. So now I can also use the strength buckets to understand the strategy on a bigger scale. So I was holding a middle pair and a gutter and a flush draw. Now first, if you look into our entire range, sets are raising 27% of the time, 2 pairs raising 10% only, and 1 pair's hands 11%. I'm opening up the 1 pair hand, and I want to specifically look into middle pair. Middle pair is raising 14% of the time. So Queen X is calling more often, makes sense, folding fairly often as well, and then raising only sometimes, and we're probably looking for strong backup in order to raise. When I open this one up, we can immediately see that the only middle pair hands that we are really interested in raising with are the ones with a flush draw, and all the other hand classes below are pretty much calling or folding. So I'm opening up this one. Let's filter for it and look deeper into this hand class. On the right side, we see the strong variations in our range. A hand like ace, queen, jack, 10 with the nut suit, for example, a good one to raise with. If I scroll down, queen, jack, 10, 9. So we have middle pair and a wrap and a flush draw, also a great hand to raise. So all hands with high equity, or for example, the nut hearts. But if I filter for queen, jack, and 9, 8 with hearts, let's take a look. We do actually see that queen, jack, 9, 8 with hearts is splitting pretty much 50-50. So whether we raise or call doesn't seem to make a huge difference here. Now, one thing is though that we had the clubs, and with the clubs, I mean, we are calling a little bit more frequently, but still being quite mixed. In other words, calling or raising is very close and similar in terms of EV. Table number 1. Table number 1. I will raise. Top 2 pair, backdoor nut flush draw. Let's see. My opponent comes over the top. Like how many? I mean, it's definitely not a great spot, this. But I mean, he doesn't have that many 10-10, 5-5, deuce, deuce. Do we just want to call? I don't know. Just think that he doesn't have that many sets, I would say. But let's see. He's in the tank, which might be good news for us. But maybe not. What does he have? He have a cutter and overcards. What the fuck? Look at this, guys. Look at this. Okay. Let's hold. No king, queen, jack, 3. Oh my god. That is pretty unfortunate. Like what a shove. What a shove. Okay. This is what it is. Taking a hit there. But we did get it in pretty nicely with 70%. Jack 8-6 deuce double on the left. I would raise against this tight big blind player, but I will fold now. And Jack 8-6 on table number 1. I'm gonna fold under the gun. A lot of loose players on this table. It's anyway not a great hand. Definitely need to mark this guy, by the way. Heel rake. Heel rake. Let's start off with this. We'll make a note on the side. And queen 8-4-4 will just be a fold. Rookie 9-7 in the big blinds. Taking it down with a walk. And Jack 10-8-5. Let's see. 2 pretty tight players on my right. Folding there. But I will open raise this one for sure. The button makes the call. No surprise. Really looking into his stats. Flopping the third nuts. Pretty dry board. Gonna start with the check. Small bet on the turn. Table number 1, flopping bottom, pair backdoor, nut flush draw. Check. Could bet. Okay, my opponent checks back. We'll go for a delay at this point. Four, five, six. Potting. And we do get called. 5. Yeah, that makes sense with the straight that he calls me down, especially that he has a blocker to the boat. I think usually I will get a lot of folds there. And table number 1, we do call against a 3-bet with queen 10, 7, 5. Very bad board. Gonna check fold. And a cash drop on table number 2. 10 big blinds in the middle. Very bad hand, unfortunately. This player again. King, queen, jack, 8. Triple. And also double suited kings in the big blind. That's a pretty nice hand. Especially a strong hand against someone that plays 63 VPIP. So we're gonna squeeze. And also defend on table number 1. Beautiful flop. Beautiful flop. Bet. Table number 1 taking a stab. And on table number 2, the money will go in on the turn with top set. Let's see. He does make the call. And we're up against the nut flush draw and a gutter. Let's do it. Let's do it. Beautiful. So we do take it down. Pair and the nut flush draw on the flop. I mean, I would probably consider shoving myself. And we get the egg in the face. I'm gonna open raise with this player again in the blinds. And 9-8-7-7 single is a little bit close. But I would probably raise it, but fold against the raise for sure. Couple of playable hands. Ace Jack Jack 7 will be a squeeze on table number 1. That's a good flop over pair flush draw. The 2 low cards are also don't connect that well with my opponent's ranges. Turning a flush on table number 2. Very quick check. I'll check again, see if we can induce something. I don't think that's going to happen, so I will just bet myself on the river. We do get called. We're probably good there. Table number 1. Lol, look at this. Look at this. This guy just check calls the river with the second nuts. Okay. Saving me some money. Table number 1. Just check. Like, this hand is too weak to do anything. Turn is the ace. Pretty interesting. Like I do want to have some bluffs on the turn on the ace. This one is reasonable. I'll check. Call the river. Or call the turn on table number 2. We're checking it down with the king high straight. Table number 1 is a bit tricky. It's a bit tricky. I don't know. Somehow I feel a call. 6, 7. Yes, the straight. Okay. It's a very loose call, absolutely. But I do think it's a pretty good spot to bluff after I check twice. Maybe it's a bit too loose. Maybe it's a bit too loose. Probably it's too loose, I would say. Then sometimes you gotta go for it. Just gonna call with my rainbow aces on table number 1. Decent flop. Not great, but not terrible. Gonna check call. Queen. Couple of checks would be nice. I think that's a pretty good river. Gonna bet. At table number 2, my opponent leads into me. That's a bit surprising. I'm just gonna call. We're in position. We have another draw. And we do take it down on table number 1. Beautiful. Actually gonna pot it on table number 2. We unblock all the pairs on the board. I mean, potting the river. Fortunately, he does fold. And we do take it down. Ace 9, 7, 5 is a fold. Ace King 9, 7, table number 1. Interesting. This player is not super loose, but I do want to play it. I'm actually just going to call this one. Little bit tricky. I wouldn't mind a 3-bet. Let's see. If he bets, I will call. If he checks, I'm going to check bet myself. One third. I can bet and stack off against the player on my left. Pretty good turn given the SPR. So something like this. That's weird. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. We do face a raise. It's not good news. I mean, this guy is also super tight. We win. Queen, queen, 9, 5, huh? Okay. Look at this call. Terrible call. Cut off. Call. Queen, queen, 9, 5. Rainbow. The guy was super tight. This, I mean, it's pretty strange when you think about it. And then on table number 2, flop bets, turn, check, check, river, he bets. I will fold. Yes, you have some missed hearts. But he will also have a decent amount of like 2 pairs and better, I would say. Seven, 6, 6, 5 folding, and I will raise a 6, 5, 3 on the left. It's a bit loose, but with the nuttiness of the ace and the connectivity at the bottom, I think it's okay. This player also seems to be a weaker slash recreational player. He's queen 10, 5 triple. In the meantime, table number 2. I will raise if I can. I will have to fold, unfortunately. Folding ace 4, 4, and we're betting on table number 1. We do take it down. Look at this guy, super tight. Snap fold, no surprise. Min raise, min raise, min raise, min raise. Gonna go for a tricky 3-bet on table number 1. Betting, top pair, backdoor clubs. Interesting turn. This is very weird. He leads out on the 4. I mean, I have so many hands in my range I can continue with. I think I can just let this one go. It's a bit weird, of course. King, Jack, Jack 7. Playable hand for sure. Table number 2. I will call against a raise, a single raise at least. On queen 3 deuce, we do have the backdoor spades, but what I'm looking for is more connection to the board whenever I bet. So a diamond, or a pair blocker, or a straight draw, or a combination of any of these. This is a hand that I check back with. Check fold, table number 1. Interesting turn now. Turn is the king. Gonna call. Let's see. So the diamonds missed, the low straight draw missed. The thing is, this guy is super tight. He didn't pot the turn. I think he's gonna do a lot of potting on the turn. With like 2 pairs or better. Which is not the case. Okay. Okay, he just has it, of course. Of course he has it. Table number 1, open raising, ace 10, 10, 8. So far the bluff catchers, they don't work out that well. Gotta be careful, guys, in these games. Easy to under bluff. And if you're too sticky, then you're just putting in money into the pot with hands against too strong of a hand range, basically. Easy fold, table number 1 against the squeeze. Turn on the right. Interesting. Ah, what a terrible river. Now our hand is dead. Maybe I should just check raise the turn, actually. Yeah. Gonna go for it on the river. I will definitely check call some deuce X on the turn. And it's hard to find bluffs. Oh, look at this. The guy has 7-7. Interesting. So I was thinking on a board where like 3 pair, like deuce, deuce, deuce. Basically, it's pretty hard to come up with natural bluffs. So you need to find them somehow. This is a reasonable way to do it. On the left, gonna go bet small turn, bet small river. My aces, he did check back the flop. And we do get called. Beautiful. We'll fold here with a very loose button. But yeah, you need to find bluffs basically in any node of the game where you have value, right? Basically. So on jack, deuce, deuce, 7 deuce, like I will have some deuce X that I check raise. So I need to find bluffs. Blocking the jack and the 7, I think it's not that bad. As sort of almost like a randomizer. If you arrive with those hands on the river. But my opponent had one of the combos that he obviously needs to check call down with. Queen jack 7-5, table number 1. This is a bit tricky. Pretty wide. Just gonna let it go actually. Disciplined fold. Checking back on table number 2. Betting on the turn. Another cash drop on table number 1. Gonna make the call. Let's see, guys. Flush draw. Check, check. Let's do it. We do see the bet, unfortunately. And my opponent pushes me out of the pot, guys. That's gonna be it for this episode. Hope you did enjoy it. If you have any questions, use the comment section below. Also, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and check out PLOmastermind.com if you want to learn more about pot limit OMA. Guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.